Hey guys, and welcome to episode 38 of Cringe of the Month. Just got done watching the movie of the day, or the night, and it was this. Straight out of nowhere, Scooby Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. This is a good movie. There are some things that... And these are very little things that bother me with this movie. First, I want to say this. The story worked. Plus it made me laugh. It opens like how a majority of Scooby-Doo movies have a tendency to open with the end of like a generic mystery. But the fun thing is, they do something very different instantly. And that is having Scooby and Shaggy interrupt the freaking monologue of Fred, Daphne, and Velma about the robber to go up to the monster, which in this case was a ghost clown, or more than likely a ghost clown, just scary clown, and take a selfie with him. That is something very unlike Shaggy and Scooby forever. And apparently they got this from a self-help audiobook. I thought that was pretty cool. And then all of a sudden, as Velma's explaining what's going on with the ghost. Also, what's hilarious is during where Shaggy and Scooby are explaining the freaking self-help thing, the ghost clears the like he wants them to continue the unmasking crap. Oh, that's so funny, Scooby. Yeah, okay, because that's something. Scooby all of a sudden starts hearing the music of Courage. Dun, 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 dun. He starts hearing it. That makes me laugh. And they cut the thing off also with Daphne saying, "I'm sorry, family thing, you understand." With the ghost apparently completely understanding. And for the first time ever, a villain in a Scooby-Doo mystery getting away with what he was doing. Because he left with all the cash he had stolen. But all this is a fun little detail. As they're chasing Scooby, Velma brings up that they have the fact that he still has a tracking device that they used on him in one of the first episodes of Scooby-Doo, Decoy for a Dog Napper. I don't know why I'm pointing at my screen. You can't see that. It's on the special features of the movie. But yeah, in Decoy for a Dog Napper, they dress Scooby up as a world-class Great Dane show dog and putting a tracking device in his collar. And I just thought of this as the movie was playing. They never really swapped out his collar and took the tracking device out. That is passion writing for knowing Scooby-Doo right there. Meanwhile, in Nowhere, Courage is having the same reaction. He hears his own music, and it's causing them to go crazy. All of a sudden, Scooby meets Courage as he's running to Nowhere. Also, I did not know that Nowhere was so close to Coolsville, or wherever this city was, since it wasn't Coolsville. Next thing that happens is a bunch of cicadas. These gross, if you ever hear that, if you're ever in summer or in school and you ever hear like a, I don't know how to describe the sound they make. Hold on. Cicada sound. Let me see if this is the right. Yeah.
Come on, quit hiding. I'm not gonna hurt you.
You hear that? That sound. It's these bugs. These are the bugs that would make that sound. It's the sound you'd always hear in like when you're zoning out in summer or some crap. Disgusting little fuckers. That's the main enemy of the show. Or the movie, my apologies. Giant cicadas and of course a cicada queen. And this is the one thing I did kind of want to happen a majority of the movie. Of course, they make Muriel and Eustace, they immediately take a liking to Muriel, who of course gives them cookies and food. It's very cute. But one thing I wish happened more in this movie that kind of only happened at the end is the weird thing about this crossover is it works on this weird level. Scooby Doo had constantly shown that the supernatural, ghosts, monsters, aliens, all that stuff didn't exist. It was always special effects, costumes, and that kind of crap. While Courage showed that these things do exist. The supernatural, monsters, aliens, all this exists. So combining them, I would have loved to see, especially Velma, going crazy that these kind of things exist. Kind of like in Zombie Island, where there were real zombies, real monsters, the witch's ghost. It's kind of like that, but I would have loved for them to explore the denial of it. That she's denying that this is real. Kind of like, if I remember, kind of what they kind of did in the Curse of the 13th Ghost, the movie wrap-up middle finger movie for the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Anyway, we then cut to the fact that they've been invited to the mayor of nowhere, his house, for dinner. And it starts a very small... I'll give it this. The running jokes in this movie don't get annoying. They know when to stop. They stop after like 3 shots, and even then, 2. It starts a running joke of Eustace going, "I didn't vote for him." And that's one thing I'll also say. The voice for Eustace is different than for the show. I don't know if it's just because they couldn't sign him, or maybe the voice actor passed away. I don't know. The voice for Eustace definitely was the most unique thing for me to get used to in this movie. Not bad. I'll just say that right now. I gotta say that right now. The voice was not bad. It was perfect Eustace. It just, when you hear a voice so many times, you know what it sounds like. I wish I could heard it. Plus, there's one line I wish Eustace said, and that is, "I'm getting me mallet." He doesn't say that in the movie. I'm a little disappointed on that. Anyway, a good chunk of the monster experience in this movie, the cicadas, comes in the mayor's house, where the dinner... They're locked in a room to wait they're attacked by monster chairs. Which, again, I wish they did more of Velma and the Scooby Gang wanting to know what's going on. How is this happening? There's also another running joke that kind of happened where Muriel didn't really understand that they were mystery solvers, and she kept thinking they were riddle solvers. So she kept asking them riddles, and Velma couldn't even answer them, and she was getting a little irritated with herself, mad at herself for not thinking of it. And I love that idea, that the smartest one on their group, Velma, who can solve any mathematical equation, can put all these crazy clues together to solve the mystery, can't solve a riddle. I love that characteristic of her. I wish they could do more of that, but I get the feeling that this movie is not canon. We, of course, have our classic chase scene with Scooby, Courage, and Shaggy running away from the cicadas and the mayor's creepy butler and his wife. Meanwhile, Velma, Fred, Daphne, and Miss Muriel, which also, there's a chase scene in the car, in the Mystery Machine and Eustace's truck, where, this is probably one of my favorite jokes in the movie, the Cicada Queen kidnaps Scooby and Courage. Fred looks, he says, "There's a big monster driving the truck." Muriel goes, "Call him Eustace, dear." I love that. There's also a little scene where he addresses them all and Fred says it Miss Muriel when addressing Muriel. Again, that's just a little thing that I love. He could have just said and Muriel. But no, he chose the proper thing to call her, Miss Muriel. I like that. It's little things like that I very much appreciate. The mannerisms. Or the manners that people use in this. Even in the beginning, Shaggy, when they're running to get after Scooby, Shaggy is in the driver's seat, and Fred has the look of, "Get out of my chair, boy." Shaggy gets out of the driver's seat, and they don't take off until Fred has them buckle seatbelts. Again, that's very cool. That's very funny. That even in a chase for your friend, You still care about the laws of safety with traffic. That's cool. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, Muriel, Velma, Daphne, and Fred are in this museum of references of Courage the Cowardly Dog. And again, I truly wish we could have seen them react to all of these characters that were on the show. They had the mask, that cat lady. They had the chicken alien's ray gun. What else did they? I saw so many things. They had Flim Flan on the wall in his picture. Cats and Le Quack statues. So many references that I can't apparently think of them all, even though I just finished the movie. I was legitimately having fun watching this movie. This is such a good movie. If you find this movie either streaming or, like me, you find the physical copy, I highly recommend watching this. This is so good. And of course they end this back with okay. Of course we find the secret lair of the villains where they have a device that apparently is mind controlling people, and apparently what the control did is it had them drop so many riches at the farmhouse. Diamonds, gold, money, gems, anything of value was given to Eustace, who had previously left because he just couldn't take this crap anymore. There's also the running joke of him, Eustace, doing the mask bit, the ooga booga booga, to Shaggy, Scooby, and Courage, and I get it. To Courage, I get. To Shaggy, who watches the old man put the mask on. Anyway, after Shaggy and Scooby and Courage escape this cage by falling through a pit and destroying the evidence, not ever finding out what's happening, because it's constantly making phone calls to rich people, we find out that they're anti-gravity. The water's floating up and they're floating. So they leave out while Velma's trying to piece this together. She needs internet connection. So we are heading to the farmhouse, to the computer. Probably one of my favorite parts of Courage cartoons was him using the computer. It was always so funny to me. Meanwhile, again, back at the farmhouse, I won't say meanwhile, I'll try to use a different word, or try to set up something different, since I hate when I use that word too many times, meanwhile. So back at the farmhouse, after Eustace has gotten all this rich stuff, we jump into something that not really is synonymous with either Courage or Scooby-Doo that much, and that is a musical number. A rap music number. This is the one of the few things I have not a problem with, but a question with, since it's weird because you don't associate musical moments with Courage at all. And with Scooby-Doo, at least they've had a history of musical moments, mainly, and I mean songs that just kind of happen. Not like background music like during chase scenes or stuff like that. I mean, all of a sudden we're in a musical kind of thing. The only time I can really remember Scooby-Doo doing that is a pup named Scooby-Doo, where and even again, that's the chase scenes. One of them would break the fourth wall, head over to a jukebox and start playing a song or something like that. It's a very weird. The song is pretty good though, I'll admit. Anyway, back to them escaping this cave and coming outside the edge of a cornfield. And this led to something I loved. They say that Scooby, Shaggy, and Courage say that they ain't going in a cornfield at night. The gang and Muriel point out, "What? You're not scared of corn, you're eating it right now." Shaggy then goes, "It's not the corn, Daphne. Explain." He could have asked anyone. He asks Daphne. This is the thing. I want to say this real fast. A lot of the time with Scooby-Doo, or a good chunk of it, I should say, while shipping and relationships, love and stuff like that, usually with Scooby-Doo usually factor to Fred and Daphne becoming a couple. They usually also tease the fact that Daphne and Shaggy are two of the closest ones in this show, since, or at least the ones that get like the closest friends, I guess. And it helps me, being the weird shipper I am. I've explained to you some weird ships I have. In fact, I might make a video about it on Wednesdays. I can't say tomorrow since it's almost midnight in 5 minutes as I'm recording this. Okay. I have a weird ship. I'll just get this fast so I can move along. I have a weird ship of shipping Shaggy with Daphne. Anyway, moving on. Daphne explains to Muir that this is the part where they refuse to do anything except until they bribe them with snacks. Muir then pulls out something we've never seen in Courage. Courage snacks. Which I believe she says are just biscuits that she puts in the cookie jar. They're homemade. This leads to a funny scene, again, with Shaggy and Daphne, who, again, whether it be some moments in Where Are You, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, or I think a lot of the time it sometimes happen, and I say a lot, not by saying, like, a lot, I mean, a lot by these two standards, since you normally don't see these two paired up together, and when they do, stuff like this usually happens. It's cute little friendship things where they seem to get along so well. I know they're all friends, but you know what I mean. Shaggy looks at Daphne and says, "We've never been offered homemade Scooby snacks." Daphne stutters at this. She could have just rolled her eyes and said something sarcastic. But no, she legitimately gets tongue-tied at them being so, upset at never getting homemade Scooby snacks. The only time I can remember a homemade snack is in the Ape Man episode of Where Are You, Scooby-Doo? I believe it's the Ape Man episode. One of the very early episodes. Where Shaggy says Scooby snacks won't work on me this time, so Daphne offers him a Shaggy snack. Which is this pizza pie freaking combination that she made herself for Shaggy. Daphne fans are like me and a lot of other people. We'll take any moments we can get. Usually we freeze frame something. But also, 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo probably helped a lot of addictions. I'll admit, I really gotta watch 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. That's like the one Scooby-Doo series I kind of missed. Because I wasn't used to seeing just Shaggy with Daphne. It was a weird combination to think of. Anyway, sidetracked. I apologize. So after that, we get the chase scene in a cornfield. And this is where something I noticed works on. This is where one of the strong points of one show comes into play that the other show never really used, and that's this: CGI. The cicadas, a majority of the time, and the little cicadas, who have now molted and now have wings, which again, a little Daphne thing. Daphne agrees with Shaggy of this being horribly worse than just normal cicadas. And yes, cicadas have wings. They're fucking terrifying little bastards. As I was saying, CGI works with Courage. Courage the Cowardly Dog has had CGI characters. Can I think of any off the top of my head? No! But I know they've had CGI before. It works with their show. You don't normally see CGI with Scooby-Doo, and a lot of the time with Hanna-Barbera characters. They're all hand-drawn, and I use that term because even with this being a animated movie, there's still a style of hand-drawn even to today with Scooby-Doo Guess Who. It's still like hand-drawn stuff. CGI works with Courage, not that well with Scooby-Doo. And then then one by one they get picked off by these cicadas. Daphne, Freddy, Velma, and Muriel get picked off by the cicadas and taken somewhere. And this is a scene where I really got a little upset with the movie. It's not the movie's fault. This is just my thing. Shaggy, Scooby, and Courage are the only ones left. Velma gives them the advice of dig up the source, because she's found the source of whatever the devil's going on in this mystery, in this crazy circumstance, is at the farmhouse. Shaggy goes on to give this great speech of even though we are scared, we're going to have courage. We're going to be brave. We're going to do this. Even if we're always scared. And I love that. I love that Shaggy got serious in this. Even him saying, I'm not usually the brave one. I'm always scared. I'm always terrified. But I've had enough. I'm going to be brave and we're going to do this. I love that, man. He then gets picked off immediately by the cicadas. Obviously, having these two goofballs be the last hope for the gang and Muriel. And that's the problem. That's the one micro problem I have. I always have said that. I know it's the joke, like you give the big dramatic speech, then yoink, you're done. But when it comes to a character like Shaggy, I swear to God, he should have been in this final 3. He should have been there. Mainly because this would have been a great moment for Shaggy to show that he is now brave. He's had brave moments before in the show. I dare say he's one of the most bravest characters in cartoons. Because, just like how people have said Luigi's very brave in the Luigi Mansion games. He's clearly terrified, but he's brave enough not to run. He keeps going forward. I mean, of course, we're playing, so we're making him go forward. But he goes forward because he knows what he has to do. That could have been great for Shaggy, because he's done that, but we've seen him do that before. Yes, it's with the help of Scooby Snacks a lot of time, but even when he's the most terrified, he will still help. I remember in an episode of What's New, Scooby Doo, where we had the Leland Brothers zombies as villains. Shaggy gets some courage and helps. And he's the one that saves Daphne, who was taken captured, while Velma and Freddy are looking for clues. Shaggy's the one that rescues Daphne. A lot of time, it is Shaggy that comes. It comes down to Shaggy and Scooby in old school Scooby Doo cartoons, and sometimes even new ones. And I say newer ones, meaning What's New, Scooby Doo. It came down to Shaggy and Scooby saving them all. Actually, this is a side thing. A side thing I want to talk about when it comes to this crap. I had a problem with Fred at the mansion. I know I'm backtracking big time on this, but let me explain. Eustace does the mask bit. He scares them. He scares Shaggy, Scooby, and Courage. Fred then looks at Shaggy, Scooby, and Courage and tells them to stop goofing around. Why are you blaming them? They got scared. You know they get scared by stuff. Why are you... I swear to God. Whenever they blame them for having their reaction to things, I get so mad. And usually it's Fred that says quit clowning around. Him or Velma. I get so irritated at that crap. Yeah, down to Shaggy and Scooby. Not Shaggy. Shaggy's been taken away. Scooby and Courage take Velma's tablet that she's been collecting data on to the farmhouse, to the computer. And they get a pointless flirting scene between the computer and the freaking tablet for some stupid reason. I don't know why that was put in. It's funny, I guess. It's just stupid. It turns out, a good reason that so much weird crap happens in nowhere is because a dark matter meteorite, the one that that killed the dinosaurs, yes, that meteorite, is below the farmhouse. Okay, so that's what makes Nowhere so crazy. It's what makes the weirdness in Nowhere happen. That's the cause of it. A meteor with dark matter. So we get to it, and we have a fun chasing, and this is where another element, chase musical numbers, it doesn't fit Courage that well, but it fits Scooby-Doo. You then find that the cicadas have taken the gang and Muriel hostage in webbing. They free them, and after another chase scene, they escape with the meteorite out of the cave. The Cicada Queen then leads a bunch of her army, takes Muriel hostage, and this is where it kind of didn't become... It stopped being a Scooby-Doo and Courage crossover, and this is where it started being Courage the Cowardly Dog, the movie. Here's why. At this third act, it's the Cicada Queen with the dark matter meteorite versus growing to the size of a kaiju, and I'll explain why I say kaiju in a second, because there's a Godzilla reference in this movie, versus Courage, who, after a lot of dodging, and he repeats Shaggy's speech in his head about being courageous, grows also to the size of a kaiju. They have a entertaining fight scene, which ends at the Titan part of it anyway, with Courage being defeated and the cicada launching out a freaking nuclear breath blast into the sky, like how Godzilla did it in his rebirth in King of the Monsters, where he just looks at the sky and lets out the nuclear breath. Again, this still being a Courage movie, apparently. Courage, now normal size, with the meteorite, defeats the Cicada Queen. Restores everything to balance. I'm skipping over this because I don't want to explain a lot of these kind of... I don't want to explain everything. I at least want you guys to watch this movie so you can see what I'm talking about for yourselves and see what happens. Now here comes the part where I think should have been a good majority of this movie. The unmasking. Of course, the Cicada Queen turns out to be the mayor. But that's not all. The mayor isn't a mayor. It's Cats and LeQuack. The only one who recognizes them is Velma because she remembers the museum tour. Cats and LeQuack explain that they found the meteorite and they used it to get rich. Classic Scooby Doo thing. It then turns out that the Cats and LeQuack's butler and his wife were the general and the lieutenant. Those funny freaking characters from the government. But this is the scene where I wanted it to be the majority of the movie. Cats is saying the line, if it was for you meddling kids, when all of a sudden Fred, Daphne, and Velma are trying to rip his head off, thinking it's a mask, not knowing that Cats is a cat and LeQuack is a duck. They think it's like a super glued mask, and it's a duck puppet. They don't get that in nowhere these things exist. This is normal. These are not people in costumes. It ends with a ridiculous dance scene because apparently if the meteorite is spinning as like a disco ball, everyone is just constantly dancing. Overall, and that's where it ends. Overall, honest to God, this is such a good movie, and you heard my complaints. It's just a different voice, and a stupid joke I knew was coming. If those are my only complaints about just a different voice and a joke I knew was going to happen, watch this movie. This movie is so good. It has the right humor. It has the right comedy of both Scooby Doo comedy and Courage the Cowardly Dog humor. And the fact that this is the first this is a brand new... Not brand new... Let me try again. The fact that we are seeing a rebirth of Courage in this era. When did this come out? Because this didn't come out that long. This came out last year. So last year we got a new look into Courage the Cowardly Dog. First time we've seen Courage the Cowardly Dog since it went off the air in, I believe, the early mid-2000s when the show was canceled. I still truly believe Courage the Cowardly Dog should still be on TV. Maybe it is on Boomerang, a channel I don't get. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this Cringe of the Month. And since now it is Wednesday, it is currently 12:09. I will be streaming the reaction. I didn't do it now because of this video and the freaking live stream I tried to do of this. I was planning to do a live stream of both this movie and the Loud House Text movie part 3 and 4. But my live stream got taken down by freaking copyright audio. Because of course. Anyway, later guys. Hope you enjoyed this.